everybody, Lee Scott here. Thank you for watching and or listening to this week's episode of Leading with Lee. I'm super excited that you are here with us, just watching and listening to this episode. And I pray that you are inspired, encouraged, and empowered because we talk about life, leadership, and legacy. I mean, I've been in this month doing a little bit something different, but I have another great group of guys on Leading with Lee today that is going to be exciting. But before I introduce them, if you have not done it yet, go and subscribe to Leading right now on YouTube and all podcasting platforms. So I'm not going to take too long to introduce these guys, okay? They have an incredible podcast called Reach Over Culture. If you have not subscribed to Reach Over Culture, you need to go and subscribe to Reach Over Culture. And we even talk about some other stuff that they're involved in and doing. But please welcome my guys, Raheem and my boy Moses. What's up, guys?
What's happening?
Hey, bro.
What's up, man?
Listen,
what's up with you?
I'm super excited because I'm so glad that we got an opportunity to do this. A few months back, I came onto you all's platform and talked with you guys about leadership, but you're in my space now. So
yeah.
right. You on my territory. This is the whole different ball game.
There you go.
Right.
Hey.
But let's first start off. I just want to talk to you guys about how are you doing? I mean, obviously, there's so much happening and shifting right now. People are vaccinated, starting to get vaccinated. Some people haven't got vaccinated. I know all of my episodes are kind of out of order when I release them, but at this present moment, we are seeing that people are out doing certain things and, kind of engaging. But how are you all have been navigating this last year or so? And how are you all doing personally? And I'll start with you, Mo.
I've been doing pretty well these past few months. I'm about to start a new career here soon. I'm moving from being a technician to a salesman, so that's pretty exciting. But overall, this year's been pretty smooth lately. Yeah.
Good. Raheem, how you doing, sir?
Man, everything is everything, man. This year was rough on a lot of people. I could say last year, despite all of the social, dilemmas going on, whether you're, COVID and all this other stuff, last year necessarily wasn't a bad year. It was a stressful year. It's just stress in the air. It's just you walk outside, you breathing in other people's stress. It felt like, and this year has been solid. A lot of transition in my life. I recently transitioned from working a 9-to-5 to working for myself, trying to build, Reach Over Culture into a full media company. And so, learning and networking and talking to people I really don't want to talk to, but have to talk to, trying to get sponsorships and just this different, level of, I'm learning the equity of, of people, just this different level of equity when you are connected with people versus how much money you can ever have. To quote a friend of mine named Ramon Walker, I don't know if he got this from somewhere, but he said, people are the best currency. And I'm learning that because I have a hard time not connecting with people, but I don't like being around a lot of people. So I'm having to balance the two. Right. Yeah. I'm having to balance the two. But it's been a challenging year from that standpoint, just in all aspects, mentally, emotionally, just trying to keep my confidence up, trying to wrap up this this second half of Reach Over Culture strong. Challenging year so far, but definitely a solid year nonetheless.
Great. Well, I kind of want to take something from you guys, and I love the interesting questions that you all start out with. But I'm gonna switch it up on you a little bit because you all have this segment on Reach Over Culture called Questions That Need Answers.
Questions that need answering.
Yes. So right now, when this episode comes out, it's going to be August. So we already know who's going to be the champion. But at this current moment, as we're recording, we got the NBA Finals going on. And then also, we're about to start the Olympics. Now, by the time this episode comes out, we'll be well into the Olympics or towards the end of the Olympics, right? And at this current moment, we're seeing some interesting things happening in the NBA Finals, especially considering the fact that for the first time since 1971, we got the Milwaukee Bucks in the finals, and then for the first time since '93, we got the Phoenix Suns in the finals, and the Suns have never won the finals, but the Bucks hadn't won the finals since the 70s.
Mhm.
And we got this 2-1 series right now. And I think what's the game? Is it a game tonight or is it tomorrow?
It's actually tomorrow night. I thought it was tonight too. It's actually tomorrow night.
Yeah, they stretching this series out big time.
Trying to get some money, man.
Yeah, bro.
Trying to get some money. I was like, who wastes 2 days in between home games? They didn't do that in Phoenix. Like it was one game. So yeah, they just trying to get some money. I don't know what event is tonight, but they're just trying to get some money, man. I don't know.
It gotta be. But I kind of want to hear what you guys think how this is going to turn out. It's been an interesting. Let's talk about the finals first, and then we'll talk for a second about the USA men's basketball team and stuff that they've been doing in the last week. But kind of talk to me. How you guys think the series is going to go so or end up going as it relates to who you think might win the chip? And I'm gonna go with you, Raheem, first, because I know you itching there.
Well, because Moses isn't gonna have a take. Moses
Yeah,
doesn't watch sports, so that's why I was gonna say Moses. Even if you said Moses first, I was gonna be like, no, don't worry, Moses, I got this.
No, I think I'm gonna pass.
That's why I was trying to laugh the whole time. I was like, man, you think Moses got a take? Nah.
No.
It's reach over culture that we had to start Uncredible Sources sports podcast for a reason. You know what I mean? I got tired of seeing Moses be stuck on the sports questions. And make sure y'all go listen to Uncredible Sources podcast, a part of the Reach Over Culture Media Group. Yes. With that being said, I called the Bucks winning the entire thing prior to the playoffs. It's on our old episodes of Uncredible Sources, so I'm quotable. You can go back and you can quote me. I called the Bucks in 7 prior to this NBA Finals, and I'm sticking to it. I'm sticking with the Bucks in 7. What I saw in Game 3 the other night, tremendous. They did exactly what they need to do to beat the Suns, man. Slow down the pace, stop threes, and Giannis just has to go and do what Giannis does. Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday, these dudes got to step up. As long as they do that, they got the defensive weapons. They got the bodies. They can beat the Suns. The Suns are beatable, and they showed that in Game 3. I assume, since this is going to come out later, and you can go back and listen to Uncredible Source, I'm pretty sure we would have talked about it by then. But I think they're going to go and win Game 4. Phoenix comes back, win Games 5. Bucks come back, win Game 6. The Milwaukee Bucks is winning Game 7 in Phoenix, Arizona. Bank on it. Bank on it. It's Giannis' year. Bank on it.
Okay.
Bank on it.
Mo, I'm gonna give you an opportunity to give your response, but even if you don't have one, it's cool.
Just say no comment, Moses. Just say no comment.
Yeah, I'm gonna say no comment.
Say whatever Rock said. Whatever Rock said.
Whatever. I'm hopping on whatever Rock said. I don't want no heat from nobody, so I'm just gonna go with it what he says.
Yeah. Listen, if at any cost, let him take all the heat. That's completely fine. That's completely fine.
That's a fact.
I will say, from my perspective, I noticed, and I ain't gonna spend too much time on this, but I don't know who I think is gonna win. I do think it's gonna go 6. It's gonna go 7 games. Like at the pace that they are playing, it's going to go 7 games, because even in this last game, Devin Booker had a horrible night.
Yeah.
But it's like, if Devin Booker is on, I mean, you're talking about the next four games being very competitive and very interesting to watch. And I mean, to your point, Raheem, the Bucks are big. They are a big team. They are a strong team. They can overpower you as a team. Like with Phoenix, if you take Aiden out, who else they got?
They don't have anybody at big man. That's the point.
Crowder cannot defend. Crowder cannot defend Giannis, and I'm not saying that he's not a good defender, but he doesn't have the size to really defend Giannis, or even like Brook Lopez. Oh my gosh, if they just start just dumping dives to Brook Lopez, if they just have him run pick and rolls the rest of the game, it's hard to stop him. He's so big,
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see how they play going forward in the series. I mean, I think it is a great storyline to talk about Chris Paul. I mean, for him.
Oh, I'm on his helmet. It's not a great storyline for me. I feel like I'm not going to be mad if he gets one. I'm not going to lie, because I'm from New Orleans. So You know, he was New Orleans Hornets' second superstar after Baron Davis.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have an affinity for Chris Paul. I just don't like how people are going to overrate his career if he does get one. Because mind you, they did beat a very hurt Lakers team. They did beat the Denver Nuggets without Jamal Murray.
Right.
And they did beat a Kawhi-less LA Clippers team. And so, and you know, he jumped around, you know what I mean? The old heads are gonna say he didn't take the easy way out. He didn't super team and this, that, and the third. Well, he tried.
Right.
And he
The league blocked that Lakers trade. And
the league blocked it, but then he tried to go make it happen again with, you know. So shout out to Chris Paul. I do hope, I mean, I love Devin Booker so much, and I'm such a Devin Booker fan. If he gets one, cool. But because I called the Bucks winning before the whole season, I'm just stubborn on my pick. I like to be NBA's prophet, incredible prophet. So hey, shout out to Chris Paul. I mean, I don't know, man. Hopefully, we'll see. We'll see. And as far as Team USA, I don't know.
What's happening with that? I would say this, and I do have a question as it relates to that, because real talk, like no lie, these first two games they've looked very sloppy and look tired. But I think it's primarily because the other issue for them is the fact that, well, let's be real, they just came out of such a weird season setup where they didn't play ball for 6 months and then played part of a season, which I'm still confused about why the NBA did that. I'm still very confused why they played 30 plus games and then
money, baby.
Playoff. Huh?
They got to get that TV money.
Well, yeah.
TV was threatening not to pay them, and then they can't pay the players. So
right. But they did that, and that kind of threw me off, because I'm like, why are you, playing 20 to 25 games for finishing the regular season, and then you had not a partial, but a full playoff.
Yeah.
And then you were off for 3 or 4 weeks, and then you went back and played a full season. Well, technically a full season. And so, it created this moment where the likelihood of people being hurt was going to be high, because there was not a lot of recuperation time, and not a lot of rest time, and not a lot of, time for these players to really get in shape or just take care of their bodies or just recuperate from the wear and tear that they were experiencing.
Yeah.
And it shows in these first 2 exhibition games. But I mean, it's Team USA. I don't suspect that they're going to be bad actually in the Olympics. This may not be one of their best years, but I don't expect them to be too bad.
Well, I said it on the podcast. I honestly, it's Team USA, and United States of America has the best basketball players known to man. So you never really want to go against Team USA in a sport that they dominate most of the talent pool in, globally dominate most of the talent pool in.
Right.
But this particular team, man, I mean, no Steph, no Bron, no Anthony Davis. This team isn't riddled with superstars like years prior. And
now they got KD and Dame, but I mean,
that's it. I mean, and yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Well, and like, there's the thing: the Team USA should win because it's the USA, and these guys are some of the best basketball players in the world. These guys can go and play for any other country and be superstars on that team. So Team USA should win, but Team USA has a bad reputation of losing Olympics when there's not more than 3 or 4 superstars on one team. And so I don't even know, to your point, I didn't even think about the fact that they came off of a little bit of a weird season, which I wouldn't necessarily give them, because a lot of those guys has been out for the past month and a half anyway, 2 months. You sign up to play for Team USA. So you know what comes with that. I mean, this is a once in every 4-year opportunity. Most NBA players, about 96, 97% of NBA players, never get the opportunity to even try out for the Olympic team. And so, you got to put on, but they have looked sloppy. They look bad. And if they get bronze this year, I won't be surprised. I mean, they don't have, and then on the other side of that, before I kill, globally, Team USA has been able to get off on other countries being afraid. These other countries aren't afraid of them anymore.
Oh yeah,
because they look on the other side. To your point, they see Dame, they see Kevin Durant. They're not
and
worried
maybe,
about Dre.
and maybe Jason Tatum and
Not
Dre.
even Jason. Jason he's not a global superstar yet.
That's true. That's true.
He's a star to us. I'm talking about putting fear. Like in that 92 Dream Team, you looked on the other side of the court, you saw Jordan, you saw Pippen, you saw Ewing, you saw Chuck, you saw Karl Malone. That put fear in you. You know, even that Redeem team, you saw Kobe, you saw Bryant, you saw Melo, you saw Dwayne Wade, you saw Chris Paul, you saw Dwight Howard. That put fear in you. Here, you look on the other side of the court, you see Kevin Durant, Damian Lillard. You're not afraid of Draymond Green. You're not afraid of Bam. You're not afraid of Kevin Love. You're not afraid of Jeremiah Grant. You're not afraid of Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday, and none of these other guys when they come. You're not afraid of any of these guys because most of these guys don't even sell jerseys. So
Moses, he coming from people.
I'm saying the global play is different. These teams out for blood, and they looked at that USA roster and said it's open season. It's anybody's year, which it very well could be. Nigeria is a good team. They've proven to be that, you know, because they just beat Argentina the other night. Argentina's ranked 4th. We rank 1. We play Argentina. I think we actually playing Argentina right now. We've already played them. And so this team, man, you need superstars, baby. You need the big dogs. It is what it is. If you don't have the big dogs, like in soccer, imagine Team USA playing without the top soccer superstars.
Especially the women's team. If they didn't have,
come on, man. Imagine Brazil playing without Neymar. Come on, man. Imagine Brazil playing without Neymar. Come on, like it's Neymar. If Neymar on the team, nobody's scared of Brazil. I mean, come on, Moses, back me up here. I'm trying to throw it back in you.
That is true.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we'll just have to see, man. Team USA wise, by the time this airs, I'm rooting for them to go gold. But if they do not go gold, I won't be surprised. I will be one of the few people not shocked that they did not go gold.
Which is fine. And I'm going to shift it a little bit because I don't want Moses to feel left out. What is the car that you're looking at that's going to be the top car of the year in the next year or so, Moses? I know you're a car guy. You love cars. This is your thing. Now, you went from the backside to the front side. See how that transition happened? You got some experience.
That was good. That was good.
Being
He's been practicing
in the back, understanding the system, which is the car. And now you have the ability to sell in a way that is different and unique. What are you looking at as far as this transition by going from the back of the store to the front of the store and causing people to buy some of the fastest or have the best horsepower? What do you think is like some good deals out there for people? Net on me though.
Yeah. I think right now the Honda Civic, I've noticed that the Honda Civic, brand new Honda Civics are selling fast. And
wow,
we don't even have one in stock. I was checking online just to see like inventory. They don't have it in stock. And also right now there's a chip shortage like all over the world right now. So there's not that much inventory in such cars. That's one thing I'm a little nervous about, but you know, I think I'm gonna be okay because there's used cars I could sell out there too. But I feel like the Honda Civic, I feel like the next coming year, I feel like that's going to be the hottest car right now because it's spacious. I think it's not that expensive and it just looks sharp too. So I really feel like I feel like it's a competitor. Also the 22 Camry, they look pretty good. I like those cars too. And I think that's about it. But I know Tesla's coming up. But I'm really curious where Tesla's going to be in the next 5 years. Just they seem like they're doing something out of this world and just very like they're very smart at what they do, and they like changing the whole scene of like how people look at automotive and owning a car and stuff like that. So I'm really curious what they're gonna do. But that's my pick for right now.
Okay. Well, you know, I had to have a reach over moment with you guys because I didn't want Moses to feel like a deer in the headlights, so I had to give him something I know that he loves. But you know,
It's good work.
if anybody in Tulsa, you make sure that you be looking for Moses Chavez if you want a good deal. But let's but let's move on, guys. I really enjoy having you guys on, and I have so many questions now that popped in my head just based on us talking about basketball, but also with you, Moses, about this movement that's literally happening. So I have this question for you, Raheem. You know, I know that you guys just celebrated 3 years, right, with Reach Over Culture, and then now, how long have you been doing it with Moses? How long have you guys been doing it together?
It's coming up on a year now.
Wow.
Yeah.
In a couple months, coming up on a year.
Wow. So you guys have got an opportunity to cultivate a different culture and a different synergy in your engagement.
People love Moses, man. Moses is a part of Reach Over Culture, whether he likes it or not.
Yeah.
My little brother spotted him the other night downtown randomly. It was like, hey, you do a podcast with Raheem, and showed him love because my little brother loves the podcast and he always listening to Moses. Like, man, I don't know what it is about that dude. I like that dude.
Hey, Moses.
Yeah, Moses is a staple now.
That was a special moment for me. That was really nice. Just hearing somebody say. He also said some words like, "Man, bro, you bring comfort to me. I really appreciate it." I'm like, man, you know, I thank you, because I give myself a hard time just being on there because like I'm usually not putting myself out there, but it was really nice to see that.
What and it's a powerful thing too. You know, Moses, sometimes, and when people watch this or listen to this, one of the things that is very clear is that Raheem recognized something about you that could actually be impactful for a specific group of people, right? We all have the capacity to impact people in a significant way. And the thing about it is people have to be given opportunity.
Yeah.
We can only do significant things in the world when we're given opportunity. And the big thing for you is Raheem gave you an opportunity and it created a moment where you actually grew into a space where you didn't know that you had a capacity to grow into and be effective at and do this thing. So, you know, I kind of want to stay in that vein because I think that that's super important. Like, what has been your experience in just, and I'm just talking to you, Moses, because I know I have to talk to Raheem, obviously, but he's just here. You know, we know who Raheem is. But kind of share with me about what has that experience been like for you? And then I also want to hear your perspective about that, Raheem, in watching him become this podcaster, because he probably never thought he could do podcasting or anything like that. But what has that experience been like for you, Moses, in like stepping out into sharing your thoughts and your perspective about what's going on in the world?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's been amazing. You know, I've always like wanted to challenge myself to step out of my comfort zone. That's something like I've always tried to tell myself like every day, just something to do. But just kind of growing with Raheem has been really amazing. He's someone I look up to, and I would say like, you know, he's my mentor whenever, you know, I need to talk about life and stuff. But it's been cool because I've been meeting a lot of cool people, seeing all these people with their passion coming on the show and just talking about stuff that they're real passionate about. I mean, we had Jerry Manna, Charles Wicks. I mean, we had you with the lead with leadership, amazing. And we've had many more, and we're gonna hear more soon. But it's been very hard too, because like, I mean, I've always been like kind of the shy guy, and I've always like been kind of hard on myself to like kind of just put myself out there, and like I always think that, you know, nobody's gonna want to listen to me, or, you know, like I'm just a new guy on the scene, like what do people want to hear from me, you know? But I think it's just been slowly been getting more comfortable and getting more confident. Just Raheem's been just backing me up, pouring life into me, and he's just been amazing. But what I've seen from Raheem, like when I first met him, he did not look like he had a podcast. Like I could tell he could talk, because when I would go over where he was working, I just see him goofing around with his coworkers and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, cool, he cool. But I did not know that he could speak how he speaks is just, he's insane. Like when I remember we we were doing an episode with Dallas Duco, and we're just talking about just life and like emotional intelligence, I think. And Raheem just goes from like, he got so deep. Like me and Dallas were quiet for like
a lot.
for,
And to your point, Moses, I listened to that episode and I was like, wait, repeat that, Raheem. I literally was like back and I was like, ooh, okay. I'm gonna let you keep talking. I'm sorry.
yeah. For like 10 minutes, Raheem just started from like the very beginning of the Bible and like told the whole story of the Bible in a very detailed and deep way till the end. And I remember me and Dallas were like, what the heck just happened?
It'd be like that, brother.
Yes. But Raheem has a huge talent of just expressing and just thinking out of the box and being so intentional how he speaks, and just so very detailed, very, very detailed on topics that he's real passionate about. But yeah, Raheem, he's just crazy. It's just something you wouldn't expect. That's the cool part.
I think that's so great. And I think it's a powerful and awesome thing that you admire him so much. But I need to hear his perspective even about you and working with you. What has been your experience, Raheem, by working with Moses and seeing Moses's not revolution, but evolution over the last year?
Great question. He, just like, so with you're absolutely right. I saw something in Moses that I saw me at his age, actually younger, because, super shy guy, doesn't mind playing the background, but loves people, loves being around people. He likes being around people a lot more than I like being around people. I give him.
Yeah.
Oh, but in all seriousness, it's like when I would have conversation with him, and our first initial ones, having to kind of just pull certain answers out of him. Once he was talking and he was passionate about what he was talking about, I was like, how do people, I just wondered in the back of my head, how many people actually get this side of him? And
Wow.
I was thinking about, well, I had my co-host Rob, who's still with me on the sports side of it. He was going through some transitions, and so I was like, I've been thinking about adding an extra person on anyway. And I was like, me and Rob, we two older guys, not super old. We ain't in our 30s, but we in our late 20s. We need a younger, fresher perspective. And I just, Moses came to mind, man. I just saw something and I was like, yo, if somebody had came and pulled something out of me at that age, I would have found out about myself a lot earlier. And I've had people, mentor me and stuff like that, but nobody ever tried to like just uproot like some stuff out of me. Whereas like showing me I can do this. You know what I mean? Little stuff here and there, but the ability of speaking, nobody really gave me those opportunities early. And so with Moses, I just sensed a sense of not self-doubt, but just, I wonder how much he really thinks he has in his bag. And if I can do anything to show him that he's more than capable of doing whatever he feels like he's supposed to be doing, which I know is on the speaking side, what's the best way to do that? Put him on a podcast. And so me getting that sense of him and just me having an attachment to him and just, feeling called to be in his life in some form or capacity. Again, me seeing myself, I'm like, man, who would I have wanted when I was his age? And I had some great mentors, so I don't want, get that twisted. But like, as far as just pulling out creativity in me that I know I have, but nobody's really giving me a shot to show how creative I am. I want to give this opportunity to this guy, and it's been amazing. Like, again, he's been a pillar and he's helped hold it down. Again, with my partner Rob, when he, was going through his transition, he's going through a few transitions, and I needed Moses, to step up. He was in it, from day one. And to see him from last year to this year, even for him to be able to say what he's saying on the Zoom right now, it's, taking work, and he's it's taking practice, but he's getting it. You know, it's an ever evolving thing. You know, obviously we're not recording every week, so it's, you know, far and few between as far as practice goes. But I don't even know if he would be able to do what he's doing right now last year. And so, you know, he's grown. You know, people have grown to know him. You know, again, when they think reach over culture, they think ROC, Moses, and you know, my prayer is that we continue to develop just these little creative things that we doing on the side, so that he can go on to do whatever it is that God's called him to do, you know, in the future. This is just like a little tool. This is a playground where he can come and practice and get his shots up for the bigger game, whatever that looks like ahead in his future. But I'm super proud of him, man. Like I couldn't be more proud of, you know, who he is today, and, you know, versus who I met a year ago. Much more confident, much more sure of himself, even when he's doubting, much more sure of himself. You know, he didn't really know what he wanted to do, or like had a vision for where he wanted to go. And now, you know, he's transitioning careers. He's doing his thing. And, you know, it's a blessing to be a part of his life, man. So.
Thank you.
I could just end the podcast. I ain't got no more questions. I mean, that's fantastic. But I will say this, it brings up the power of relationship and the power of believing in people, right? Because one of the problems that we have in our culture is we don't give people we give people opportunities based on what we perceive as their value to us, and not what we can give to them for them to be themselves.
Yeah.
And that is one of the fundamental problems within business culture, within spiritual culture, within just people don't understand this simple fact. And I've said this so much in the last week or so, is the problem in how we think about relationships. We always operate in relationship or in connection with people based on the premise of what we can get. But we never ask ourselves, what am I willing to give? And the powerful thing about what you all are experiencing, what you all guys are doing, is there's been a reciprocity that's been happening where Raheem, you've been pouring into him, giving him opportunities, not criticizing them, not trying to make them into who you want them to be, but giving them the space and pushing him and saying, hey, Moses, you can do this, man. Man, you may not think you have much to say, but you actually have something to say. You do have a unique voice and a unique sound. And if you operate in that way, people can experience that. And then at the same time, Moses is starting to believe that. So he's now saying, hey, Rock, can we do this? Hey, can we do this? And it's now that there's a give and take that is happening because of the genuine relationship that you both have. I mean, bro, like that right there is something that can't be taught. You have to be that type of person that will do that for people. So big ups to you, Raheem. Like big ups, bro. Like that's a huge thing because, like you said, to your point, beyond the time, and I mean, y'all can be there for 20 years, but beyond, if he goes inside and do other stuff, he still will appreciate the fact that you invested in him when he didn't think he had something to say, no matter how that looks.
Yeah.
When he's selling cars in the next week or so, or beyond the next week or so, and he's right and has a top sales record at the dealership he's at, he's going to be thinking about the fact that you gave him an opportunity in a space that he didn't think he had the opportunity in.
Man,
right?
I appreciate that, bro. I can't take too much, bro. I appreciate it. But that's my dog, though. I got love for Moses, man. Moses, I got love. I'm just short of meeting mom and pops and giving me a pallet and moving in. But I got love for Moses, man. Like, and I appreciate you speaking that into him because Moses is gonna be great, man. Moses is always gonna be a part of Reach Over culture in some form or fashion. But Moses is gonna go on to do some amazing. I mean, bro is only 21. When do you turn 22?
I'm 23, boy.
23?
Yeah. Yeah.
Still my youngin. 23. He's only 23. That's still like baby.
Yeah, bro.
Still baby.
Yeah.
Like, 23.
Yes. I mean, and
he's gonna be great.
you don't even realize this, most we all in our 20s, but we are two different generations.
Yeah.
You are at the leading part of your generation. So the impact that you can have on my sister who's 17 and my cousin who's 12, and we got to move on, but this is necessary. And even in us talking about this right now, as people listen and watch this, one of my biggest desires is for people to actually see in real time how investment looks. Because dude, Raheem, this ain't got nothing to do with the questions I'm about to ask or even talk about. But the investment that you made, you are seeing in real time the return on your investment of conversations, of time, of just engagement. Like, that is stuff you can't teach people, man. Like, that stuff you can't, that's an intangible. You know how they always talk about with athletes, one thing that people talk about all the time, specifically with Russell Wilson, is that they talk about he's a great quarterback, but his intangibles.
Yeah.
It's just stuff that he does in the pocket that is so unique to him. It's literally like ballet. He's so elusive. He knows how to move in the pocket and not get sacked.
Yeah.
Like, he knows where to make the right step. So he gives himself more time to look for DK or another receiver out of the foot. Like, that's an intangible. It's an intangible thing. And some people just got it. And ROC, you got it. And the thing is, Moses has it. He doesn't know that he has it yet. But eventually he's going to have a moment where he realizes that he has that intangibility, where he's going to be so confident he just start walking in what he's supposed to walk in. I don't know, you all didn't come to talk to me and this is supposed to be about this, but I really, really believe when people listen and watch this, they will see the genuine nature of how it looks to really be in relationship and connection with somebody and actually care about their success and not just yours.
Yeah.
Because we are struggling that within our culture, man. So I'm not gonna prolong that, because we could stay there and that be the whole episode, because it is super important that people get that. It's super important that people understand that. So I'm gonna move on a little bit, because I think for the fact that you talk about that the name of the podcast is Reach Over Culture. Raheem, I need you to talk about, where did that concept come from? Because we even see it's being demonstrated in your relationship with Moses, but where did that concept come from, and how has it evolved, and what has that been like, trying to figure out how to really live that out?
Yeah. Great question, bro. Reach Over Culture is keyword being culture, other keyword being reach, third keyword being over. Me, I was raised in church, but I wasn't necessarily churched. I had the parents that, listened to Marvin Sapp before church, and then we was listening to 50 after church. So
yes, sir.
The family threw parties and stuff. And so, I came up with a lot of different church principles, but I definitely lived with a couple of parents who, was like, yeah, we do on Sundays, but then, it's Saturday or it's Friday or whatever. And so, people say they grew up very church. I grew up very cultured, very, very cultured. And so, so Reach Over Culture, when I first started doing ministry, I was doing youth ministry for most of my first years, just in ministry, just in church as an adult, just trying to serve at a certain level. And, one of the things they teach you in youth ministry, or at least they try to teach you, is try to, bridge the gap in between what the kids are going through, what they're seeing, and what's biblically true and what is a part of their faith walk. And when I was first launching Reach Over Culture, funny, it's actually the first time, it's probably the only time I'm gonna say this. Okay. First time.
We got an exclusive.
First time, only time I'm gonna say this on wax. So Reach Over Culture, my nickname is ROC. And so if you get the acronym, it's the ROC, it's the Reach Over Culture. So one part of it was trying to instill my image onto it without it necessarily being called Raheem's podcast, ROC's podcast, or whatever.
Yeah.
So I was, because it's like reach over culture, I want it to be more of a movement than just one human being. And so that was part of it. The second part of it, it was simply just a God thing. I said, God, just give me something creative, because I want to bridge the gap between faith and culture, because both have to exist on this earth while we're here.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter what faith you're a part of, whether you're a Muslim and you come from the Middle East, or you're a Buddhist and you come from Timbuktu somewhere, Alaska somewhere. Like everybody, no matter where you are, you have to bridge, faith, whatever your faith is, and whatever culture you maybe grew up in or you're living in or whatever. So it's always room to bridge the gap between the two. And that's what this is about. It's about bridging the gap between faith and culture, no matter what faith you are, no matter what culture you're a part of, and hopefully building up your faith so much that you can reach over whatever culture that you're a part of. Because then we get to that standstill too. It's like, well, I got my faith, but this over here is too strong. The culture of gang violence, or the culture of female, the way female rap is, country or whatever. Like whatever you're a part of, you can sometimes look at the culture that you're a part of and being like, that's been around for X amount of years, no way I'm gonna have any effect on that. Reach over that. Whatever culture you're a part of has the ability to be infiltrated and be changed. I mean, look at the faith system you're a part of now. Somebody had to infiltrate a culture that your family has grown up with to come get you to say, hey, this is what we believe in. So, you can reach over any culture that stands in front of your way, that you're a part of, to bridge the gap between faith and culture. I don't think it's about necessarily choosing one over the other, or just trying to make one more prevalent than the other. Let's just find common ground behind what's gonna be versus what we want and what we believe to be. You know what I mean? So that's the basis of it.
Oh, I didn't know you were done. And
Basis of it.
But I mean, that's a phenomenal answer, and it made me think about how important it is for us to recognize the role that we play in understanding both, right? Because both are, as you said, both are necessary, and that connectivity and that overlap is always happening. There's a center. It's like two worlds that are going around each other, and it always is an interesting thing. Moses, I want to ask you about it, man. Like, what after being kind of outside of that space and then coming into this space with Raheem, what has been your perspective about reach over culture and just the concept or the thought of reach over culture?
I think it's an amazing platform, because there's not one out there like it. The one thing I really like about Raheem, that he really, like, the culture just itself, as in like reach over culture, is that, like, he likes to keep things real. That's one thing I've noticed. Like, just keep things real, not hide anything, just straight to the fact. Um, that's one thing I really admired about what he does. But the one thing I love about is just the mission statement is just, bridging faith and culture. Because there's not really much, podcasts out there that really do that. Straight mission to it, just like they talk about faith, talk relationships, right, or just talk about other things that they're passionate about. But this is something like we could talk about culture, anything that's happening in the world, with sports, news, just whatever, right? But we can also put like a faith standpoint on it. Like, that's our foundation. And that's one thing, like, I just think it's super cool. And just like having like various artists and people who come on, they're like influencers, music artists, politicians, people like with leadership and stuff like that. One thing I like is just like we don't discriminate. Like, anybody can come on, you know, anybody can come on, and as long as we can just have a good conversation and just be real. I mean, that's just all it takes. That's the culture that we use for, when we speak with our guests. So that's just one thing I really admire about that.
Good answer, big dog.
Thank you.
Well, and that's great. I would say, from my perspective, as somebody who listens to you guys and supports you guys as a listener, I can tell the intentionality anytime you talk about something. Like you guys just talk about like, and Raheem, I think I've become hip to your strategy. I think you high key just say something so absurd.
You're smart, man.
Or figuring, or put the topic, like you buried the lead a lot. You put the topic there for somebody to try to figure out what you're getting at, and they like, wait, what is he talking about? Yeah. And then you just take us on a trail for a minute, and then you switch it up at the last second, and you hit us with the word. I'm like, my goodness.
Yeah.
I'm like, he done buried the lead, and he knows how to make this thing work. And I think that's a super powerful thing, but it's so helpful for an audience because it gives us an opportunity to really question our beliefs, or it causes us to actually lean in. And I think that's a great thing in what you guys do, and just that difference of having so many different kind of people. And I think that's a great thing because here's the reality. And I believe this, and I have more questions for you guys, but one of the biggest realities that we are living in is people have to understand that culture affects everything. All three of us come from a culture.
Yes, sir.
It is the thing that drives your beliefs, your principles, your values, your perception of yourself. I mean, we come from family cultures. We come from community cultures. We come from a racial culture. Like, we come from, like, as all of us being Americans, we come from American, like, we're being influenced by so much culture at so many levels. And so it's not like you can get out of it, right? Like you can't escape it. Like even with you and I, Moses, we still work for organizations and businesses. That business or organization has a culture.
Mm.
For Raheem right now that he is independent and he started a business and he's going full time with this, he has to develop the culture of this entity that is now a media company, because the culture comes from the leaders. The culture comes from the people that are shaped. But the thing is, those people come from a certain mindset and come from an environment that causes them to think or do the things that they do, right? So it is a powerful thing to realize that, wait, this is not a trivial thing that I'm doing. I have to literally, inherent in the title of the show, and if you want to explain, you can, but inherent in the title of the show, like, you're telling people, hey, you got to step over some stuff to bridge some gaps, to come to some understandings, to agree to disagree, to learn.
Get uncomfortable. Get uncomfortable.
Right.
Yeah.
Uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Get uncomfortable. Get uncomfortable, because that is at least one of my favorite ways of resolving any conflict, bridging any gap. Is get uncomfortable. You know what I mean? And if it causes you to question yourself, like you said, I love what you on to my whole scheme. Question yourself, question your own beliefs. Yes. Why do you believe what you believe?
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, why do you do what you do? I'm on an everlasting quest, for me personally as Raheem, constantly trying to put the pieces together. And why do I do what I do? Not because a super famous pastor told me, because there's science to even go against what they say half the time. And It's not to say that God isn't real. God is very real to me. And what Jesus did on the cross so many years ago is very real to me. But even me as Raheem, I have to constantly go back and reaffirm my beliefs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but no matter what you believe in, Muslim, Buddhist, LGBT, whatever, why do you do what you do? And when you can be comfortable in why you do what you do, you'll be comfortable enough to have a conversation on why we all do what we do and how we can all bridge a gap. But until we get to have those uncomfortable conversations, man, you being in politics, you being in a leadership position, awkwardness, it's the key. It's the key to ascension, in my opinion. Awkwardness. You got to go through, got to get a little awkward. Once you get a little awkward, you ascend. You know what I mean? You'll ascend once you get a little awkward. Get a little, you know what I mean? You got to squeeze, you know, that little last place of toothpaste. Got to get out of there. Get out of there. You know what I mean? Then we all win. Yeah.
Right. Because
Stop exposing my plan, though. You exposing my master.
I'm sorry. but I'm recognizing that it is the most powerful way that you can engage people, because it's teaching you how to learn. Like, life is, and I know I gotta ask so many more questions, but I think whoever watches this or listens to this needs to hear this. Life is actually about learning. Yeah. It's not, the greatest thing you can do in life is to learn that you do not have all the answers. The moment you learn that's when you become the most powerful, because you can receive so much. You become a student of people. You become a dangerous person. Oh my gosh, when you become a student of just engaging people where they are and allowing them to say how they feel, like, this is going to be the future of reach over culture. And I hope it's the future for leading, but
absolutely mandatory.
I mean, it is necessary for people to experience seeing themselves as valuable and having something to say.
Yeah.
And literally, you all's relationship is a demonstration of somebody believing that this guy has something to say. And that is huge for people. That is big for people. And I hope when people watch next season, because I got some stuff to unpack next season as it relates to even that just that one thing that I'm saying right now, the kind of value piece that people really need to get in their minds and understand about what it means to know who you are and why it matters that you know what you want to say. That's a huge thing for people.
Man.
That's a huge thing for people. But I'm gonna move on because I've been trying not to sit on points with you all, because I think as you all well know this, we have a kindred kind of thing, right? Moses, I've gotten to know you in the last few months by listening to Reach Over Culture, but also meeting you recently. And then, I've known Raheem for three or four years, right? Yeah, so I've gotten to have conversations with Raheem and see how he thinks about things, and see how that, just even our unique perspectives, can contribute to how people perceive themselves and what we do as it relates to podcasting. And even on the podcast, I got two questions for you both, and I want you both to answer this. Like, what are some of the fears that you're dealing with in podcasting? Because everybody has a podcast, right? It's becoming an oversaturated space. But how do you?
It's already there. It's already there.
Right. But how are you maintaining your voice and not becoming too influential? I mean, obviously we can learn from other people, but how are you remaining like focused on solidifying your voice? But what are some of the fears you're dealing with? But also, how are you taking care of yourself as it relates to podcasting? Because those things are super huge. And Moses, you go first because Raheem talked too much.
I think one thing is like, I have a fear of like just people having a judgment towards me, because I'm a huge people pleaser, and if you're on a podcast, you got to share your opinions. Like, you got to be straightforward. You don't want to say what people want to hear, Yeah. So that's something that's something I'm really trying to overcome. But at the same time, I'm not trying to step on somebody's toes. Right. But sometimes you just got to speak your opinions, because like this is conversation. I think another fear is just me being like just insecure, just like I feel like anything I'm gonna say, just like nobody cares, but that's not true. And it's just been so hard. Well, I mean, it's not just been so hard, but it's just something that I've just trying to overcome, just trying to push myself just to be more fluent of how I speak with my opinions, and be more passionate and be more intentional with what I say. But I think one of the things about the fears is just like I don't want nobody to hate me at the end of the day. I want to make people smile, laugh, bring encouragement, and also share my opinion. But yeah, I don't want nobody to come to my house, trying to break in, you know, and like, hey, bro, I don't like what you said. You know what I mean? Like that's just something that I worry about. But yeah, those are my two answers, honestly.
But answer the other part for me. What have you actually? What is like the positive thing that you actually? What have you actually learned about yourself as it relates to that? Like,
Just
experience. Yeah.
just like how it helped me connect more better in my relationships because just because I'm more in tune with the conversations I'm in, and I'm more in tune of the other people's opinions. I care more, you know, it's not like I'm fake conversating, like I'm actually genuinely interested, and I want to know more of the core of who they are as a human being. And that's something I'm real passionate about, because like one of the things I'm real passionate about is people. I loved hanging around with people, love just being around my friends, family, meeting new people, and just making people feel good about themselves. Just I'm a goofball whenever I'm with my friends, like, because I love making people smile. But I think it's just taught me more to be very intentional and actually care about what other people have to say, and just be a really good listener too.
Yeah, yeah. Raheem, what are some of the things that you felt like you feared in the podcasting space? Because obviously, you know, it's a complicated and unique space. But that other piece of what have you really learned about yourself? You know, you and I have been kind of doing this for some years now, right? We ain't new to the game, but there's a lot of concerns that we have, right? Kind of share about some of those things.
Fears starting off was like anybody else. Well, not anybody else, I assume, but most introverts like myself, you know, one of the things you struggle with, like Moses said earlier, is just who's gonna listen? Like who's gonna listen? Who's gonna pay attention?
Yeah.
And
Completely.
once I got over that, yeah, huge thing. And once I got over that, I really don't have any fears uh, about the podcast itself, because I've gotten the bigger vision of Reach Over Culture being an actual media company. My fears more or less lie towards that, it not being everything that it can be. Because I know if it's not, it's only because I didn't put all I had into it. But the podcast itself, it's really little to no fears, honestly. Because we didn't said I said some crazy stuff on that. We've brought up some crazy topics, and you know, I can always tell who's listening and who's not. I can always tell who's selling me wolf tickets and who's not. Because if you was listening, you wouldn't be greeting me the way you greeting me right now. You'd have an issue with me. So you know, because I'm like Moses said, I'm very intentional with what I say. And I might not throw names out there sometimes, but I'll throw out a scenario. I might throw a name out there sometimes, but I won't get a full scenario. So I throw little tidbits in there all the time, just so I can look people in the face and be like, "Bro, you didn't listen. It's okay." And you don't have to lie to me and told me I know you didn't listen, because if you had listened, you'd be like, "You were kind of bugging." Wait, when you said that,
Yeah, I skipped some weeks. Trust me, dog. You go on a tangent about something, I'm like, I love him, but
yeah. I mean, but you know what? But you know what? I ain't mad at it, because that's been the positive of this, is because I'm not a huge social media guy, whatever. I don't even have my own personal social media, my own personal Instagram. And a lot of people like yourself and like Moses didn't even know I had this many words to say. And so this is my way to, you know, express myself and to express what's been placed on my heart, and what's been placed on my spirit at this time. And just opportunity for people to get. The thing I love about what we do and what I do is whenever we step on Reach Over Culture, that is Raheem 100%. There's no faking in front about it. You know, you like, that is rock. Like, y'all are getting rock. Like, there's no other ways about it. So if you have any interest in how I am in real life, what you get is rock. Some episodes I'm more talkative, some episodes I'm just sitting and listening. You know, so when we had you on, I only speak about what I know. Other than that, I am here to listen because he's dropping jewels. When Charles was on, Charles is dropping jewels. I only speak on what I know. I don't speak on things I don't know. It's just stuff like that. When you go back in totality, anybody who's ever became a fan of Reach Over Culture, that is ROC in a nutshell. And so, and then as far as this podcast game, I mean, like you said, it's oversaturated. The importance is understanding who you are and the content that you want to present. At the end of the day, podcasting is here today. It'll be gone tomorrow. Only real content will last.
Yep.
Like the rap game.
Oh, yes.
You know what I mean? Like the rap game. That's what podcasting resembles right now, the rap game. Everybody feels like they can do it, but only real content and real culture commentators, conversationalists, people with something to say will last out this fad in the next 2 to 3 years. I really believe that the podcasts of the day are going to be the television shows in the next 5 to 6 years. And those who have real content will be those next daytime, late night, CNN, 60 Minutes, whatever. The podcasters of the day who puts out real content and outlasts this fad will be the people you see on television in the next 7 years. And so as far as Fizz, the Fizz just getting the media company off the ground and it being everything that God called it to be, because I know that relies solely on him, but on me as well. If it doesn't do that, it's because I missed a step or I tried to skip a step or I didn't give my all. That's my biggest fear. But other than the podcast is easy at this point. It's like whatever, and at the end of the day, like I said, real content is going to last. So as long as we keep it as real as possible, as long as we have those moments where even you are like, nah, he got it. I'm going to check out. We need those. We will be fine. As long as we have those moments, when we did the What Women Want or What Men Want, and I had women hitting me like, I mean, I ain't really like what y'all was saying. Like, I wasn't really feeling that. And then I had other women be like, you know what? I was kind of tight. But then I went back and listened, and y'all are right. As long as we continue to pedal the line, call out city officials, call out pastors, that as long as we continue to do that, we will be fine. Because ain't nobody big stepping. That's why I don't know why Moses be worried about somebody pulling up to crib. Anybody doing none of that? Anybody doing none of that? Ain't nobody big stepping. Moses got backup. Ain't nobody doing that.
Right. I mean, Raheem, that was such a phenomenal answer.
Thank you, bro.
And when I tell you, this doesn't happen to me often when I have guests on. It does happen.
Nice shirt, by the way. I gotta give you that.
Thank you, H&M.
Yeah, I see the chain too. I'm like, okay.
Appreciate it. I don't really say this a lot, but the heart behind what we do is huge, and the sweat equity. Obviously you put that 10,000 hours, right?
It's getting close.
We've been in the gym, right? We've been in the gym. We do this part like this is just natural. It's who we are. It's what we do. But there's something about feeling the I don't know what the right word we use, but feeling there's a level of gratitude. There's that feeling, and you know what I'm talking about. It's so intangible. There's a feeling that we have when we're in purpose.
Yeah.
When we're just doing something that we feel fulfilled in.
Yeah.
Like you can sense. I don't particularly talk about faith a lot on leading, but I've been finding myself integrating in it to some degree this season. But you can find that sense of him being in it when you're doing something that you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah. And
there's no question. You don't even have there's no inkling of, I'm not sure. Like, like you just know that you're doing it.
Yeah.
And I think for us, as we're about to wrap up this conversation, I think anybody that's watching or listening to this, my hope and prayer is that they get to a place in their lives where they trust that feeling. Because when you have that moment where you have met yourself, when you have felt that, like, where you felt the most free, the most alive, and I'm not talking about in a way where you just, oh, I feel seen, I feel no. I mean, no. You feel like there's a level of authority when you're doing what you're doing.
Man.
It's like there's a confidence that hits you when you're doing what you're supposed to do, and that makes you get like, let's go. You know what I'm saying? Like it is Kobe in game 6 of the 2009 finals.
Yeah. Yeah.
when the Celtics looked like they were about to take him out, and Kobe after he was gassed.
Yeah,
I might got the game wrong, but you know what I'm referring to, when we could visibly see Kobe out there gassed on the court, and he literally pulls the Lakers to a win because there was some tenacity within him that believed that what he was doing mattered.
Yeah.
And I think for us, this is our Michael Jordan flu game.
Yeah.
That, like, even if I'm sick, I can still drop 35.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In the finals.
In the finals.
Yeah.
30. I can get you 36 and 8. You know, I might be looking real
in enemy territory.
In enemy territory. Shooting right in front of John Stockton like nothing ain't happened. Just messing with them. I might be experiencing that, but because I'm in my zone, I'm killing the game and I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And I think that is what we live for, man. Like, that is what we are here to do. So I'm gonna get to my last 3 questions and get you guys out of here, because we've been talking for about an hour, and I there's so much other things I want to talk to you guys about, but I know we can't prolong the time, and we'll talk afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely.
But like, what are some of the things that you guys are listening to, you guys are watching to really grow in just grow? Like, growth isn't necessary for all of us, but what are some things you guys are listening to or growing? And I'll start with you, Raheem, because I know your answer is going to be long, and it gives most the opportunity to think.
Yeah, man. So ironically enough, I'm in a season where I haven't really been listening to a lot of podcasts and stuff like that, but I do listen to the Bible Project. I do listen to that podcast. I mean, I watch Darius Daniels every week. You know, he hold it down for the 4. I'm actually just starting this book. This book somebody gave me a while ago, and it's a Bible. It's a Bible handbook. It's by Dr. Alex Haley.
Wow.
It's his commentary. It's based in the NIV, but it's his commentary and him putting, historical African fact and lining it up with what the word is.
Boy, I bet that thing is.
It's fire. I just started a few days ago. It's actually pretty fire. Because again, I just, we gotta know. We gotta make it make sense. When we teach ancestry and we teach history, we have to have it make sense. So that's actually what I just started reading. And then it's another book I've been reading called Silence. And it's a meditative book, gives you meditative lessons on how to think and process and deal in silence, how to get rid of awkward moments, and just how to live in a certain level of silence and still, process and achieve. And so those are the 2 things that I've been reading. As far as just listening, I've been listening to the Bible Project. They've been having some pretty fire series on just priest and the crucifixion. Just they get into full detail. So that's what I've been doing.
Moses?
I haven't been reading lately, but one book I was reading a couple months ago, well, not a couple months ago, probably like a month ago, I haven't got onto it, is this book, Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. Yeah, this, I don't know if you guys know who David Goggins is, but he was like a retired Navy SEAL, and he's done records with like triathlons, and this book's is really about just like his mindset, just how he's overcome the odds. It's kind of crazy because like there's one part of the book where he's like he's like in Navy SEAL training, and it's like during Hell Week or something, and he's running, and he's like running on broken shins. Like his pain, like he has like mastered his mind that pain, anything that's like his brain is telling him to stop. He has overcome that voice and just become his own master. Because I mean, this book is just crazy because there's a it's just like our minds can like go in like safe mode and just like hold us back from things but in reality we could pursue more than what we're capable of, because like one thing he said that people are living like 30% of what they're capable of, because like it really is our mind that really holds us back. So I've been trying to read this book. Like this it's just insane just how his mindset is, and it's just kind of taught me that like it literally is like you could go further than what you think you're capable of. But I mean, other than that, I mean, I've been trying to read the Bible, every morning, and just have a little perpetual prayer time. That's been real important for me. No podcasts, but when I do, I try to listen to some podcasts. It's like business, huh?
You listen to Reach Over Culture?
Yeah, well, actually, ironically, I'm supposed to, because like Raheem wants me to listen to it, but I just can't hear my voice. That's something I can't overcome yet.
He's still fighting with that. He's still fighting with the
yeah. I mean,
not being able to listen to himself, which I told him I understand, because I was like that prior to this season 4. Every season prior, I did not like hearing myself at all. But I told him that's the only way. Not the only way, but that's the main way you're gonna get better, is you have to learn to listen to yourself. So
yeah, that's fact.
I don't take any offense. He's not fired because he doesn't listen to the
right.
He was there. He knows what was said. He was
right.
there.
Yeah.
It's just like think about it in sports terms. It's just like looking at film, right? If you get the shot better, man, if you're gonna get off the block quicker, you got to look at film, and that's the only way you can grow and get better. But I'm gonna let you keep talking. What were you saying, Moses?
So when I just listen to podcasts, I usually listen to just like business related stuff, just like when people listen to like starting businesses and like marketing, and just like how they like steward over relationships. Well, I think it's called Story Brand. I forgot. Donald Miller. I'm not sure if you heard of him.
Okay.
Yeah, he has this podcast called oh man, I forgot something business, but it's something that's I'm real I listen to. I try to listen to stuff.
Okay. Well, my second to last question is, how are you guys paying it forward, man? What I mean, obviously we can see it in your relationship, right? How ROC, you are experiencing your investment. As I said, once again for the third time, you're experiencing your investment in real time. That's a blessing. A lot of people don't actually get to see their legacy 2 years later. You're seeing it happen in a very short period of time, and there's a level of gratitude in it. But how are you both paying it forward? And I'll let you go first, Raheem.
Paying forward as far as what we like been reading in the books and stuff, or just in general.
Yes, in general. Like, what are you doing to like invest in other people? And this question was asked of me, and it always has stuck with me. How am I actually investing somewhere, or giving to something, or giving my time and talents to things that matter in the world?
Yeah, man. Honestly, I couldn't even tell you. Like, it's really, I just try to be as fair to people, and do what's in my heart, not what I necessarily feel like I have to do. And so that can be my relationship with Moses. I was, just Paris called me for a video shoot. I was there. Me paying it forward is just me showing up. Like, whether it's my brother Rob needing help with the crib or whatever, with my goddaughter, whatever. Paying it forward for me, that's an amazing question. I've never actually thought about it. I just, I try to be there for the people I know are going to be there for me. Yeah. And just be as fair and as good to people as possible, and just do what's on my heart, not what I necessarily feel like I have to do, but what's genuinely on my heart to do. That's how I'm paying it forward every day, man. And that could be anybody. So
yeah. Moses?
I feel like there's a lot of ways you could give. I remember when the church says like, you know, if you can't tithe or this and that, you can give your time and stuff like that.
Yes.
So usually with my
Just as
friends, you know,
valuable.
huh?
And it's just as valuable.
Yes, it's just as valuable. I mean, I will just look with my friends and like people just around me. Like I sometimes I like to pay for people's food, stuff like that. It's just the little things, just like that. I like to, you know, sit down, be a friend, and just have a conversation with, just to listen. Give, you know, just give your time, and then sometimes, you know, I just do favors people with their cars. You know, like I just tell them don't worry about it. That's just one way that I just give my services for free. Just like just give myself out there. That's kind of like what it is.
It's great. That's great. So here's my last question for both of you. I mean, I've thoroughly enjoyed this conversation with you guys, man.
Nah, man, you've been amazing, bro.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I've enjoyed it, and as you all know, you're coming back, and I
Yeah,
always
it's vice versa.
anytime
Lead part two, reach over
right,
culture.
right. But my last question for both of you, and is, what song would you use to describe yourself and why? Now, let me give you some caveat because I want you to be honest. I want your honest answer.
Okay.
I don't need no cute answers, okay? Trust me, I've gotten answers from Nuck If You Buck to Travis Green, You Made a Way, to a song from Braveheart, okay? I need some real answers. So Raheem, what song we use to describe yourself and why, my guy?
My answer is actually kind of boring. It's a song called Homebody. It's by this artist named Judo. And so, yeah, it's you gotta go look it up. He's not a very popular artist, but the song is it's about 2.5 minutes over an acoustic guitar, and he's just singing about being a homebody. He doesn't want phone calls, text messages, Zoom calls, nobody interrupting. He just wants to sit in the crib, watch movies or whatever. He don't even want chicks around. He just I just want to be alone.
Basically, you in the song.
That's basically me in the song. Like on my don't get me wrong, on my best warmest days, I'm like, yo, let's get outside. But my social media, boy, one is not that my social media is not that crazy. And then two, when it's out, it's out. And so I'll answer the phone still, you know, for the people I got love for, but you know, some phone calls just don't get answered. Some text messages get the like. And you know, I know people say that's not a response, but it's something.
It's a response.
It's, you know, it's better than I don't have my read receipts on. Homebody, man. I'm a homebody at heart, man. I'm not a hard thuggish, you know, dude. If it was any other song for your people that want to hear ignorance, if there was any other song that I would use to describe myself, it would be Lil Wayne and Millie, because I need that.
Yes, sir. Go back to your roots, my guy.
Yes, Lil Wayne and Millie.
Ward.
I need that. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So so for the wonderful fans of Leading with Lee, just so I know y'all want me to get ignorant, that's that a Millie going to a Goblin. Come on with it.
Yes, sir. All right, Moses. What about you, my guy?
I think it's a song that I keep listening to and just never gets old. It's probably my top most listened songs for the past 5 years. It's Nights by Frank Ocean.
Okay.
I'm not sure if you guys heard it, but the reason I feel like I relate to it is just like it's kind of a story about how it's a guy or he's talking about somebody who's working a night shift, and I remember there's a line in there. It's kind of explicit, but it's like he says like, "Shut the F up. I don't want your conversation." I mean, that's something I would relate to back in the old days, you know, when I was just like staying to myself. It's just talking about like that's just something that just like ring to me back in the day.
Makes all the sense in the world. Not to cut you off, because I love Nights, because I love Frank Ocean.
Yeah.
In that way, but I love Frank Ocean. Shout out to everybody who does love him in that way. Nights absolutely describes, because Nights is about, like, to his point, a guy, a person, just a person in general that's just living their summer nights out, going to work, knowing they're supposed to be at work the next day, going to kick it with friends, just doing whatever, just a bunch of broke activities because ain't nobody got no money or whatever. You know, you want to be bothered this night. It describes just summer nights in general. And if you follow Moses Chavez on Instagram, then you know Moses be outside. Moses be outside. Moses, you can find Moses on Riverside, downtown, Jinga. You can so that actually describes Moses to the T. Actually, that is a good one, Moses. That is a good one because I'm convinced you live your life like that. At least somewhat like that, just being outside amongst the friends like that in real life. You really be having nights like that, man. That's actually pretty spot.
Thank you. Yeah, Raheem said it best. But it's just like a story like someone working on 9 to 5 and like complaining and stuff like that. Like that's just like me. But yeah, that song is it's fire. Just never gets old.
Well, guys, man, I'm super excited for people to hear this and watch this. I appreciate you both for coming on, and it's been an honor. It's been an honor. So thank you guys for coming on.
The honor is all ours, bro. Like really, I mean, you're doing amazing work, and you know the thing with us and what we're doing is still in its infancy stage. It's not even fully groomed into half of what it's gonna be, or what it could be, or what it's gonna be. And so, you know, from one guy in this space to another. I mean, even when you told me you were starting yours, I was like, bro, we need it. Like, you don't see a lot of young, especially a lot of young Black professionals teaching on the basis of leadership and just your whole basis of everybody has it. If I got it, you got it. We didn't have a lot of people telling us that when we was younger. So I commend you, bro. I appreciate you for having us on. Really, you're an amazing dude, amazing podcast. And again, past this podcast, your leadership program and what you do with this is just gonna go far, man. So I appreciate you for having us on. Me and the young boy, me and the babyface killer.
Yes, thank you, Lee. Really appreciate it. It's been an honor, bro.
All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you for watching and or listening to this week's episode of Leading with Lee. If you have not done it yet, subscribe today on YouTube and all podcasting platforms. To get more information about me and what I'm doing, email me at scottconsultations@gmail.com or follow me on social media on Twitter and especially Instagram at Lee A. Scott II or Lee A. Scott II. Thank you for watching this week's episode. I really appreciate it. Much love, and let's get started.